Hello everyone and welcome to Superman Homepage Live, brought to you by supermanhomepage.com, the number one Superman fan site in the world. In this bonus episode of Superman Homepage Live, we'll be going to disseminate, pull apart, check out the whole trailer, the teaser trailer for Superman, the upcoming 2025 film coming July 11th. My name is Steve Eunice. I'm supposed to be joined by Marc Lax and then later on Michael Bailey, who Michael's working late tonight and will be joining us as soon as possible. Marc is running a little bit late himself. He tells me give him a few minutes, he'll be there. So he's just getting himself together. But the trailer for Superman came out this morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time in the US, 6 a.m. Pacific Time. For me here in Sydney, Australia, it was 1 a.m. in the morning, Friday, 1 a.m. So I did get up. I couldn't fall asleep. I just kept falling asleep, waking up, and kept checking out the clock. And yeah, it was 10 to 1, and I thought, stuff it, I'm up. I'm gonna grab my phone and quickly have a look. And it actually came on live a few minutes before the hour mark, so it caught me by surprise. There was a little bit of a countdown, and then what do you know, it was up and running, and I was watching it on mute because I was lying next to my wife who was asleep and didn't want to disturb her, so I didn't get to hear the trailer with the music and everything until later on in the morning. So there you go. It was a bit of a different way of watching it, but nevertheless still enjoyed the visuals that I saw. And tonight we are going to pull apart the trailer scene by scene, image by image, and check out some of the maybe hidden Easter eggs that you might not have seen. But a few housekeeping tips before we push on for tonight's show. I want to thank our sponsors and patrons, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray, for their support of the show. They have purchased us this week's coffee. So thank you to Douglas, John, and Tina for their support of the show. If you want to support the show and be a sponsor, all you have to do is click the join button there on YouTube. There are different levels of membership with different levels of perks. Or you can go to Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/Superman homepage. And that's another way that you can be a sponsor of our show. And thank you to everyone who is tuning in live with us tonight. Want to thank everyone who is part of the show. Welcome, Marc Lax.
So I didn't get the memo. I'm sorry. I'm behind the time now. I saw the trailer, but I didn't realize you were doing this right now.
Yes, so
Here I am.
You're here, and Michael will be with us shortly, as I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
Everyone who's in the comments, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you, whether you're watching this live via YouTube or Instagram. If you are watching via Instagram and you want to get the full picture, all you have to do is go to supermanhomepage.com and you will be able to see the full screen. So supermanhomepage.com/live to see the full screen, and you'll be able to see everything that we're going to be talking about tonight. So Marc, first impressions of the show, of the trailer, I should say.
Oh, it was great. It was just so much fun. I mean, it was just kind of what I really wanted. That I was hoping, it would be the way that it was. It just was hopeful. It was fun. It was funny. It was sweet. It was, it was really good. I mean,
Excellent.
really good. I really enjoyed it.
Excellent. I'm glad you did. I did as well. My first impressions, as I said, I watched it without any music to start with, any sound, because I was 1 a.m. in the morning. But when I did get to hear the music, and that's one thing we won't be playing tonight because of copyright reasons. The algorithms are just picking up on anyone who's posting any videos on YouTube with the soundtrack playing. It is the John Williams score, but with like electric guitar kind of riff that then builds into an orchestral version. It is spectacular. It's great to see that theme is going to be used in some capacity. I was brought to tears. As Tanya says, she cried when she watched it. There were certain elements. I put it up on the big screen on the TV once in a reasonable time of the morning and watched it with my wife, and it was just so emotional just watching it. But so what did you think of the music to start with before we get into some of the visuals?
Oh, the music was great. I mean, I just, like you said, I mean, it had that, when we heard some of the music, when we got the poster and we heard some of the music in the background, when we watched the poster, it was a slower type of music. And I was saying it's very nice, but I mean, you need something more majestic, something more. And it did, and this music felt like that.
Yeah, it definitely built towards the end.
Definitely had, that feeling, absolutely.
And there wasn't much dialogue in this. There was, I think, one or two lines from Superman himself to Krypto, which we'll get to. And then there was the little kid calling Superman's name, which we'll also get to. So most of what we will be looking at is just visual. There isn't a lot of sound to, as I mentioned, other than the score, which we've just spoken about. So let's get into looking at the trailer. And we start with this image of the snow, the Arctic, and then bang, Superman crash lands into a crater. And he's worse for wear. He's bleeding. He's got cuts and bruises. And this was not what I was expecting to start with, but it piqued your interest. You're like, what the heck's going on here?
Yeah. And I don't know, because at first, I don't know, my first thought was Doomsday. It's not. I don't believe Doomsday's going to be in here, but just seeing him just dropped from the beginning, and then we'll see. I guess you see his eye. One eye is closed, and one eye looks open.
And
we'll
get to that in a second. I was like, well, who's he looking at? What's he looking for there?
Saying, I mean, is it like, he's dead, one eye's closed, one eye's open, I'm like, please don't, I really hope they weren't going to have the Superman in this movie. But then as we see, that's not quite,
we'll
not
wait
quite
and see
what's going on.
And if you do have any questions in either on Instagram or on YouTube, feel free to post them in the comments. Mark and I will be able to see them and react to them. And you can ask them in any order, because I will star them, and I'll be able to continually look back and see them. I'll make sure that there is plenty of time for any of the questions or comments that you might have as we go along. But then next up, we saw just a quick flash of Clark Kent trying to make his way through a busy crowd to get into the Daily Planet, and it's very interesting there that the Daily Planet building. Love the globe. We've seen some of these from the behind-the-scenes photos that were taken when they were filming in Cleveland and where have you, and Cincinnati and those kind of places. And the address there is 44 Concord Street, Metropolis, on the side of the building. So sharp-eyed fans can see that. But what did you make of Clark Kent? That stumbling, bumbling. First thing my wife said was like, "Why has he got a perm?"
We saw that here before, so we knew what we were in for. Well, I mean, there's a little bit of a Christopher Reeve, but there's also, it really just looks like he's late for work.
Yes, exactly.
He's late for work. You got to get to the plan, and then and I like that, because it showed. He really had to go to work. It wasn't because
he had to get there. Like it's like he's been doing something Superman related, and it's delayed him, and now he's got to quickly try to get back into save face. And then we flash back to the snow scene that you mentioned, where he's spitting blood. One eye looks closed and bruised, and then he looks up, and we are wondering what he's looking at. But then it fades to black, and it comes up with some text. About the making of the movie and the from James Gunn and what have you, and then we get a look inside the Daily Planet, and we see Lois Lane for the first time. We also see some others that I'll point out in a second, but it's interesting there that the way Clark looks is that he it's like he turns around and look at Lois, but then he kind of pretends that he's looking off and not, looking off into the distance, not really looking at her or what have you. I'm not sure if that's the case, but very he's very stooped over in this imagery here, and I love the way that he's standing, very all-star Superman in his hunched over posture.
Yes, absolutely.
So there
Mhm.
in the Daily Planet, we have Steve Lombard with the
Mm,
unmistakable moustache walking towards him, and then walking in the same direction, the blonde lady on the left-hand side is Cat Grant. And we saw them in the teaser for the teaser, if you like,
right.
when we saw that version the day before or a couple of days before. So um, yeah, that was an interesting look at them. Nostalgic Podblast saying Superman cannot bleed. I thought, well, I mean, Superman can if he's beaten around enough and is in a fight that is pushing him beyond his limits, and if his solar energy that he builds up, because he's almost like a solar battery, that's what gives him his powers. If that's um, diminished or depleted, then he can bleed. And we saw that in his fight in the comic books with Doomsday, and in other
Yes.
scenarios where he has been beaten to a pulp because it's just he's at the end of his tether.
Yeah, I mean he's bled before. It's not, I mean, I guess you've never seen it in a trailer
No.
of him bleeding, but oh no, he's. I mean, we know Superman can bleed, even though we have that whole thing in Batman. Batman v
Batman v
Superman. Do you
Superman.
bleed?
Do
Do
you
you
bleed?
will? Yeah.
Well, we know the
But
answer
yeah, I
now.
mean, no, we do know that he has bled before, certainly.
Yeah, definitely. I love the look of the Daily Planet. They got the globe there, and again in the background, very spacious, not as crowded as what we saw in like Superman Returns. There was desks
Yeah.
everywhere and what have you. This seems a little bit more spacious. Love the high ceiling. Love the Art Deco kind of look.
Mhm.
It's that's the thing about this film. It's got a look that's not now, not dated. It's like a period piece, but there's lots of oranges on desks. It kind of makes you think 1970s to some degree, even the fashion. But it's not, because
Yeah.
people have got mobile phones and there are widescreen, flat
Mhm.
screen televisions. So it's really not placing itself in any particular era, if you know what I mean, or any particular year. When you look
Mhm.
at Superman the movie, that's set in the late 1970s.
Right. Of course. And this, I mean, and I do have to say, Superman Returns tried to go for a similar kind of vibe,
Yeah.
with kind of Art Deco and all that, and trying to place it make it look a little bit more old fashioned,
Yep.
but also modern. But this is a little different. I mean, this is just like you said, it could be something out of the '70s, but it's also. You, you could tell. I mean, it's also embracing the modern look, and it just seems to kind of gel together. Though it doesn't
Mm.
look odd, it
No.
doesn't look like the building looks like in the '70s, and then we see the flat screen TVs and all that, and it just looks, it looks odd. No, it doesn't look odd. It fits in just right.
Trekopedia in the comments on YouTube says not now, but not dated. So kind of like Superman the animated series, which did a very similar thing. It had an Art Deco look, but a modern, futuristic look as well, because there were raised platforms for roads and all those kinds of things. So
Right.
not able to really pinpoint a year or date or era for this. John Patrick Van Pelt asked, what kind of suit is this Clark's wearing this time around? Again, it's kind of baggy. It's hard to tell. I've got something more that I will look at as we go along after this trailer that I can show you. But yeah, it's hard to kind of pinpoint exactly. Again, a lot of the fashion for this is really weird. Who is on the TV screen? Rick asks. Yeah, we don't know. It looks like it's a talkback show or there's a couple of different things playing. So like most news media outlets, when you see the network background, you see them having different screens, different stations up on the screen, so they can keep abreast of what's going on. All right, so moving on for the Daily Planet, we also in there saw Jimmy Olsen there as he's walking away or walking towards he's kind of ducking away from Lois there, Clark is,
Yeah.
as Lois approaches him. And again, we can see the Daily Planet on the screen in the background, but that's Jimmy Olsen in the foreground reading the Daily Planet newspaper. So, and again, the decor, you've got those kind of rounded bench seats, but you've also, and the chairs look a bit rustic, but then you've got wooden desks, but you've also got computer screens and flat screen TV. So it's kind of all mixing things together there. So Kenneth Crowley Jr. asking thoughts on the color grading of the trailer. It's different in that, of course, we are getting a lot of oranges and browns in the decor and in some of the outfits that people are wearing in the costumes, but it's also very vibrant and bright when we see Superman in his red and his blues, which we'll get to. It's a lot of different kind of things, but I don't have a problem with it. I actually really liked that it was a brighter type of grading.
Oh, definitely. It's that was one thing that hit me, with all the other. And I don't want to compare all the other, movies, even going back to Superman Returns and all that. I mean, there was a bit of a darker, feel to some of those
Yeah.
trailers. And this one, I mean, all right, we see Superman falling from the sky and all that, but right from the beginning, it is a bright, it's a very bright trailer, very colorful trailer. I mean, we'll get into some of the other stuff later, but this decor is a little different, of course, for the planet. And don't forget, we're looking at it. We're looking right at it for 10 minutes
Yeah.
to each scene. In the trailer, it's like boom, boom. So, but I got the feeling it was very bright and it was vibrant and it was really nice to look at.
Yeah, exactly. All right, then we move on to the Smallville scenes. So you've got the Smallville house. You've got Pa Kent there. He's looking very upset and Clark's consoling him. I'm not sure what's going on there, but that was a different scene, and I just it kind of warmed my heart to see Clark and his dad, embracing and having a touching moment. I don't know where Martha is. I don't know what's happened to Martha, if there's something going on there that's Clark is consoling his dad. But, it's just nice to see Smallville. And people complaining that there's no silo or there's no barn or whatever. We're seeing one quick image of the house. There's cows in the front yard. It's a farm.
It's a farm. Yeah, no, it was not, nice to see him with his dad and put his arm around him. It's this is I'm not sure as far as performance and as far as in the movie the way they're going to characterize uh, Jonathan, but he is a different looking Jonathan than what we've gotten before. But looking at him in this context, I mean, he looks just right, like he fits into the mold.
Exactly. He looks like a worn farmer. He's not the good-looking TV Jonathan Kent. He looks like he's weathered and he's been through a lot. And John Patrick Van Pelt asking, "Does Jonathan die again in this movie?" We don't know. I hope not. It would be nice for him to stay alive for a change. We'll wait and see how that pans out and what's happened with the Kents and where they're at as far as this film is concerned. All right, then we get another look at Krypto. Clark, or Superman, I should say, whistles his high-pitched whistle, and then we see this plume of snow coming towards him. It's hard to kind of tell what it is, but you can tell that there's something in there. And then I was like, "What?
Right.
What's going on there?" And it's Krypto, and he's the fluffy, shaggy looking thing, and Superman saying to him, kind of take me home, take us home. The dialogue there, and Krypto obliges, and I've seen a lot of comments from people saying, isn't Krypto supposed to be like a Labrador or a a short haired dog. Krypto's not supposed to be anything. Krypto's whatever Krypto is. He's a white dog. He's got a gold collar. He's got a red cape. For me, that's and he
That's
looks lovable. I love that.
Yeah, he does. Well, he's just an adorable dog. I mean, I mean, what? I mean, I have to say, I mean, what's CGI, what isn't?
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
sure there is an actual dog that we're using here, but at some point, but no, it's just an adorable looking dog, and
Yeah,
the way he just
prances
comes,
around.
yeah, and and comes for him, just as he whistles. It's no, that was great.
Yeah. So yeah, that's really cool. I did see one snarky comment from a fan that surprised me, where it came from, saying, um, swapping out a raccoon for a dog, meaning James Gunn. Look,
No,
this dog's not going to talk. This is,
no, I don't believe so.
I love the fact that Krypto's in it. It just gives me that family feel about the Superman movie that I want to see. And you can be
Mhm.
snarky and say, oh, a super dog, how ridiculous, this is going to ruin the movie. But I mean, if you're a dog lover and you've got pets, you just know that this is going to be a warm, fuzzy thing that Krypto is going to be helping Superman.
Right, and knowing the history of the character, the history of crypto, and and the comics and all of that. What I mean, it's about time that we really get an accurate version of, as far as I'm concerned, anyway, of crypto.
Yeah, it's
From
not a
what we can
talking
see here,
dog. It's not a
right?
I mean, we saw a really good version in the Titans TV series, but yeah, that was a bit darker, but obviously, but
Yeah.
this is going to be interesting to see how it goes. Now, probably for me, the best scene was this.
Uh, yeah.
This was awesome. I'm going to play that again. Uh, Superman's coming in to save a little girl at super speed from being absolutely pulverized, and we actually see that it is this giant, massive. What's it called? A kaiju?
Oh, you mean like a
Kaiju?
giant,
Like a Godzilla
like
type of.
Godzilla kind of
Yeah,
thing?
we see
Yeah.
that later on in the trailer, a fire
Yeah.
breathing monster, but it's the foot of that giant monster that you know projects these. What do they look like? Bottles of like gas bottles.
Yeah, that
That have
tanks
been like
or
tanks, yeah, some
something.
kind that have been set, standing on the roadside or there, and Superman swoops in and saves a little girl at super speed, and it just look the cape, the hair, it just looks so dynamic. I just love that.
Mm, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, such great action there, and then we see our first look at Lex Luthor. He sees Superman fly by. He turns around. We see Luthor Corp. We see Lex in like a tuxedo trying out a gun. The gun's not clicking the way it wants it to click. There's something wrong with what's going on. I don't know what these two scenes. Obviously, they're completely different. But I love the look of Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. He seems to be the businessman. He seems to
Yep.
be, you know, again, I don't know who those people are at the top of the Luthor Corp sign, but of course Lex looks like he was inside the window, so there's obviously
Mhm.
three different shots we're seeing here. But I love the look of Luthor Corp. It looks like a very high-tech, very tall skyscraper. And
Mhm.
we are now joined by Michael Bailey, who I will bring
Ah,
in a second, just altering the screens now so that Michael can come in. Welcome, Michael Bailey.
hey, Michael.
Hey, oh,
We
we're all
just kind
fan.
of, yeah, a little bit fancy tonight. Just wanted to get your first impressions. We've just been going through scene by scene. We're up to like when we first see Lex Luthor, but your first impressions of the first couple of scenes up to that point. We had Superman crashing the snow, Krypto coming to him. We had the saving of the little girl from the bombardment of those canisters. We saw the inside of the Daily Planet. As a dog lover, I know you would have loved the Krypto part.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. No, I loved all of it.
in all honesty. I thought it was kind of brave to start the. I don't know what's going on. I thought it was brave to start the teaser with him hurt, coughing up blood. I mean, that was that was kind of an interesting way to get things kicked off. And yeah, seeing seeing the Daily Planet, seeing him as Clark Kent, you don't believe that guy is Superman. The hair is completely different, and he carries himself completely different. Apparently, I saw this on TikTok earlier today, so I can't take credit for it, but that security guard is holding a newspaper that has a country referenced that goes like all the way back to Superman #2 in 1939.
What's the country?
So so apparently there's some really deep. I forget. It's been a long day, and I'm tired.
Because
there
is a.
No, I'm just kidding.
I think there's one later on. I'll show it. See if it's when we get to it. See if it's the one that you're thinking of.
Yeah.
And then we got we've got Look Inside the Daily Planet, as you mentioned. I pointed out that we saw Steve Lombard, Cat Grant. We got Jimmy Olsen there in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah.
We got the Pa Kent scene. Your thoughts on Pa Kent? I know you were a little bit dubious when he was cast initially.
Not so much dubious. I was just kind of surprised that they went in the direction of not having a good-looking male lead. I mean, when you're going from John Schneider to Kevin Costner, it's kind of it's kind of an interesting leap. But if you read like For All Seasons, Jonathan Kent is not handsome. No. He's a normal-looking guy.
Weathered farm.
And I like that. I don't know. I don't know if Clark's upset and he's trying to reach out, or if Jonathan's upset and he's trying to comfort him. It's like that could literally go either way. But Krypto charging to come help Superman and then showing up was the like it melted my heart. And him like, Krypto, take me home. I'm like, okay, this is different. This is really, really different. And the suit looks so good.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people complaining about the color grading, and I think people don't understand what color grading is, in all honesty. Yes. But yeah.
Okay. Well, let's push forward onto the scene here where... I'll just turn that one off. I've got to play this one again. I love this scene. I don't know what's going on there. Why there are people looking at him? Why he's in a glass box? I'm just not sure what's going on there. Is that part of the fortress? Is he being captured there? I don't know what that was all about. But you can see people on either side of him with like phone cameras or something looking. I don't know. That was a bizarre one.
Yeah.
But it looks
really cool though.
Yeah, great looking shot.
Yeah, it does. It's just a little, a little something in there to make us go, what? What's going on? Can't wait to see that,
Yeah, exactly. And then this was a very touching moment. This is one of the only parts of dialogue other than Superman calling for Krypto and whistling for him and saying, take me home, was this scene. This kid with a flag and he calls out for Superman. I loved that. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's I was talking with some friends earlier today. I was in a group chat with some of my con friends, and they made the point. It's just like you're actually seeing Superman save people.
Yeah.
And that's unfair because he did save people in Man of Steel. He saved that soldier from falling out of the helicopter. I mean, if we're going to be fair, we're going to be fair. But this has just such a different vibe. Like I know later in the trailer we see people like throwing stuff at him, but it seems like in this world Superman is a figure of hope. Oh man, I just
he got him good. I don't know how many takes it took until that can hit him in the head properly, but that was an interesting. I don't know what's going on there. They're angry. Maybe he let them down because he looks very battle scarred and dirty. The costume looks weathered and worn. And then we got our first look at Stag Industries. You can see that in the background there as he's leaning over. You can see there that he's looking very distraught. And we also got our first look at Green Lantern and Hal Jordan and Hawkwoman. What are we calling her?
No, that's not Hal Jordan.
No, not Hal Jordan. Sorry, Guy Gardner. My mistake. Yeah. That hair is obviously Guy Gardner.
That's a very accurate. Wow, that's a more accurate Guy Gardner than I've ever seen.
It doesn't do him any favors, but and Hawkgirl behind him. And then we got another look at Hawkgirl in action, in flight, very briefly.
Yeah.
And then this.
The Kaiju.
Fire-breathing Kaiju. And this was obviously the Kaiju's foot that we saw earlier on, that when this, stomping on whatever that had Superman have to come in and swoop in and save that girl. But a fire-breathing Kaiju, very interesting. There's going to be a massive battle there. We see later on there's, he's flying through flames and all that kind of stuff. So I wonder if this is what's battle damaged him, if this is why he gets sent up into the Arctic in a bloody mess. Like, it's so much to wonder about and speculate on.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is that it does what a teaser does. It teases. It's right there in the name. Yeah. And when you compare it, like especially the first parts of it, to like the teaser for Superman Returns, which leaned heavily on the Marlon Brando narration and shots of people looking up, which ultimately I don't think paid off as much in the film as the trailer led you to believe. Whereas here we're actually seeing like real things, like that's the creature, that's the monster. I don't know if it's the Act 3 monster or not. I'm kind of hoping it is, because you want to go bigger and bigger. But yeah, that is really impressive. And I was not, like, when I saw the Kaiju thing on that action figure list, I was just like, well, how are they going to do that? And it's apparently like this.
Yeah.
This is how you do it, yeah.
This is how you do it. And then we get some interesting speculation about Lois and Clark's relationship, because we see Clark and Lois kissing. She's wearing the same vest and outfit that she was wearing at the Daily Planet earlier when Clark was kind of like dodging her. And we saw them at the window as Superman and Lois with that thing, whatever's happening in the background that we saw in that first image that was released where he's putting on his boots. There's so many questions. This was definitely a teaser.
Yeah, the thing about him and Lois earlier in the a couple seconds before this is that he's wearing normal clothes.
Yeah, he's got no glasses on.
Yeah, but no glasses on. So did he reveal his identity to her? Are they in a relationship? Which I'd actually be pretty cool with. Yeah. I don't know how they're going to play it at the Daily Planet, but or is this like the movie where we see the moment where he reveals his identity to her? Or
when they're at the Daily Planet, is he pretending that they're not in a relationship and they're kind of hiding it from everyone?
Yeah. No, it could have been just like, or maybe something happened and he, she was a little angry at him for something, because at first it almost gives you that impression of, oh, she's ignoring him, or he's ignoring because she thinks he's a bumbling guy or something. But I didn't get
they're
that.
Trying to, yeah, I didn't get or she's coming towards him and he's like, oh, I'm not ready to confront whatever just happened to us.
Whatever just happened to us last night or whatever.
Yeah. And then we see this interesting fortress moment. The fortress, I've seen an image for like a new T-shirt that's coming out. It's crystalline, but it's not the shape that we're used to. And is that Kelex?
Yeah. that was like one of the shots of the trailer where I'm like, what is going on there? And I'm kind of hoping it is. And I bet you anything that if it is Kelex, that's the voice that Alan Tudyk is doing.
Yes, that's what I was thinking too.
And that something happens to him and he sacrifices himself, and it's James Gunn. So James Gunn's going to make us feel like we've lost a member of our family.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, and look at the fortress in the background. It's still very much the crystalline, 1978 version, but with more structure. Like there actually looks like there are tables and walls and ceilings and things and stairs.
Yeah, and I'm kind of good with that because I've talked in the past about the fact that I'm kind of done with the crystalline fortress. But if they're gonna do it kind of differently, I can accept it. But yeah, I'm done with the Superman the movie version of the fortress. I really am. Between the comics and Smallville and all that, we as a people need to move on.
Yeah. Then we get this look at Metamorpho very quickly. Interesting. Don't know what his role in the film will be. And then we get more of the destruction from the fight with the Kaiju. A couple of different things there. We get the buildings falling down. That's epic. We get Lex, who's looking battle scarred. We get that kid who's on TV that we saw with the flag. And we get Superman. Is he pushing up a building similar to like what we saw in the Fleischer cartoons? I'm sure it's not going to bend like it did in the Fleischer cartoons, but was this the country?
No, Steve,
Michael, was this the country Baravia?
Yeah, I think it is actually. Okay. I think that is the name. No, Steve, I want him to fly up and catch the building by the thing on the top and keep it falling. I want to see that live action.
That'd be
Come
cool.
on.
I'd love to see bending building. Yeah. That would be.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of action sequences quickly there. And then we get back to that whole Krypto thing where he's dragging him by the cape back home, I'm guessing to the fortress or where have you, which was really cool looking. And then we also saw this action sequence with Superman fighting Ultraman. Is that what we're calling him? That's the word.
What it looks
that's what they're calling a black suited figure. They're at the Meteor baseball park, the stadium there. Again, where does this fit? What part of the film is this? What are they fighting over? What's happening? So much action, but we just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm. It hits every. It hits at like we're going over this thing like it's a Zapruder film, but no, but it's just I didn't know what to expect from this teaser. None of what I saw was anything I expected to see.
Yes,
in all honesty.
Yeah.
But I think that's to my and I'm assuming your benefit because then everything's a surprise.
Exactly.
I mean, they call it a teaser, and it is, because everything they're showing is like, what is this? What is going on here? What are we seeing? And that's just what it is. And when we finally get, I guess maybe the main trailer, we're gonna see a lot more stuff that might put a few things into context.
Yeah.
And
then we see Mr. Terrific. Mr. Terrific fighting what looked like they're obviously Lex Luthor's LexCorp soldiers, because we've seen they've got LC on the barrels in the background, Luthor Corp. But yeah, Mr. Terrific looks good there. And again, what's going on? But again, it's a great teaser. And then we finish off with Superman and Lois kissing, him flying through some fire and then up into the sky, hopefully to repower himself. And they finished the final part of the trailer.
Yeah.
Lot to unpack there, but a few things. This trailer is playing in front of both Sonic 3 and Mufasa the Lion King, and we do have extra scenes in the theatrical version of the teaser trailer that we did not see in this online version. We've got Lex.
Oh,
in spectacles. Sorry, not in spectacles, in sunglasses. And we've got another shot of Mr. Terrific there. So 2 different extra bonuses that are just fleeting, but it's something interesting. So if you want to go see it on the big screen, you will see something different. I did see James Gunn also mention somewhere in an interview that the movie time running length will be just under 2 hours, 20 minutes.
Okay, so that's Superman the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was 220, as I remember, yeah.
There you go. We also are on Instagram, if I can get the bits up that I want to show you. There's some stickers and things that are out there. Where did I put them? Here's one. Is it going to load? Superman. Yeah, actually, no. I'll bring it in here. Superman Instagram. It's not going to play. No, that's a shame. Maybe if I put it up the top here. Here we go. So it's a little animated overlay of Superman. I'll just play that again. Spinning around. That didn't really work. And then there's another one of him from Clark Kent to Superman, which I will bring in. Again, I'll try to bring that up larger. Let's see if I can play that again. Dropping his folder and then spinning around to show Superman. So it's something different to some little items that they've put up as stickers. I think they are on Instagram. So have a look out for those. Yeah, that's pretty much the breakdown of the trailer. Some interesting items there. Don't know when we'll get another full trailer. Some questions that fans asked in Trekopedia. Stephen, guys, did you notice when Clark and Lois are making out, his glasses are off, but he's got his Clark clothes on? Either he just told her she's known for a while when the movie kicks off. So yeah, we kind of just discussed that. It's going to be interesting to see just how that pans out. John Patrick Van Pelt's asking, when do you think we'll see a full trailer of the movie? I'm guessing like February.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
maybe near Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Unless they go for the Super Bowl. I say we get probably 2 more trailers.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we got with Man of Steel. Though I have to say, and it's just, I've been comparing in my head all day, the marketing for this to the marketing of Man of Steel and marketing of Superman Returns. It's kind of unfair to a certain extent because things were so different in 2006 and things were so different in 2013. 2013 you had social media and such, but they're really using social media to promote this film in ways that they didn't before, but social media exists in a different realm now. So it kind of makes sense. But on the other hand, I don't know if you guys are seeing this, and I know, Steve, you had a couple run-ins today that were not as pleasant as you wanted, but on the whole, just about everything I'm seeing is like not only on like Threads and Blue Sky and X and Facebook and Instagram, but on TikTok too. My TikTok For You page, like nothing but people talking about how much they love Superman or how much they now get Superman. And part of me is just like, well, guys, you're late to the party, and that's kind of mean. But on the other hand, right. I'm like, this is great. It's like everybody is celebrating this character, and it seems like for the moment, and fame is fleeting, and people's attention spans, can be measured in nanoseconds sometimes. But it's just really cool to not be on the back foot like we were with like Superman Returns or even Man of Steel to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Where Batman, especially Man of Steel, I think Batman loomed large because the Nolan films had just wrapped up.
Yep.
Question for you guys, and it's just something that another thing that I've been thinking about literally all day. The way James Gunn has talked about how he views Superman in this movie, and watching this trailer, I, I know they mentioned for all seasons. I know they mentioned Kingdom Come and All Star Superman. I'm getting a lot of whatever happened to Truth, Justice. What's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way,
Okay.
as like the overall theme of the movie. Like
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
movie is not only an introduction to a new Superman. I think it's kind of a mission statement of no, this is why Superman's a great character.
Hmm.
And that story that Joe Kelly wrote and Doug Mahnke drew illustrated that so well. And in it, it was Superman struggling with these new violent heroes that were patterned very much on the Authority. And who is he? Who's one of his antagonists in this film? It's the Authority. So
Yeah.
I'm just really, I was just wondering what you guys thought of that.
I can definitely see some themes of that. Mark, your thoughts?
I did, until you mentioned it, I didn't even think of that. But now that you say that, I do, I could see that. I mean, from him saving the little girl to the people throwing stuff at him to, there's, I mean, you could just see that they're just trying to show in this new world with all these, the kaiju and Ultraman or whatever and all of that, he's still who he is and he's still fighting the good fight and he's not going to let all these newer, heroes and villains and things really get him down. So,
Hmm.
yeah, there is definitely a little bit of that vibe.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see this is really a collection of the best of some of those great stories that we've mentioned, and James Gunn has found the best out of 4 or 5 great comic book stories and connected them together visually as well as story wise. So I'm really interested to see just how this whole story plays out and how emotional it is and how much of a hero Superman is and how uplifting it is. I want to walk out of this movie at the end of it just wanting to burst with pride. And the music helps. We touched on that earlier because we couldn't play it here,
Yeah.
but yeah, hearing a different take on the Williams theme that builds and just comes to a crescendo was just so much of the emotional part of it.
And kudos to Warner Brothers and DC Studios for knowing that people want to hear the music from the trailer. They immediately put out that on YouTube and on streaming services as
Yes,
well. And it's just like, okay, you guys are
we get
really
it.
on the ball with this. It's like this isn't half-assing. This isn't what they've done so many times in the past is just kind of throw stuff out there and see what sticks. It's like there is a definite uh, media marketing operation going on behind the scenes that we are all getting sucked into and taking part in and enabling to a large extent.
Yeah. Jack Ma Sarkin in the comments saying James Gunn has also said it's a story about being a hero in a world where it's hard to be one. So it sounds like whatever happened to that story from a little
Just
bit. Yeah. The Man of Tomorrow. Anyway, there's a lot of different elements that you could kind of point out from different stories that are kind of being touched on here. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? I know we're not going the full hour tonight necessarily. This is just a bonus episode to go through the trailer. I didn't think it would go the distance to pull a quote out from Superman 2. But yeah, any final thoughts as before we wrap up?
You go first, Mark.
Oh, I just this was really everything I wanted it to be. I mean, we were you're always a little trepidatious, beforehand, saying, "Well, is it going to be good? What's it going to look like?" And this was exactly really what I wanted it to be. It was just upbeat, powerful, emotional. There was humor. There was, there was just everything there. The music, everything. I mean, this was just what I wanted it to be, and I'm right now. I'm really, really jazzed. I'm really thrilled at what we're gonna get so far. So I mean, no, I'm really happy about all this.
Michael.
I got up at 9. I got up at 9 this morning, for the trailer, but just because I got to bed kind of late last night, and I got up a little late, and I took the dogs out, and I was kind of rushing to do that, and I sat where I'm sitting right now, and I took up my phone, and I looked at it. I was like, no, and I went and I turned on the computer and I queued up the 27-inch screen because I'm like, no, if I'm going to see this, I'm going to see this. I'm not going to see it on my phone. And it was the best thing I could have done. I the the love in my heart for Superman right now is more than it was during Superman Returns, and it's more than it was in Man of Steel. And that's not an indictment on those films. But it just seems like this is just different. There's something different going on, and the fact that most other people loved it, except for the people that were complaining about color grading, whatever. My eyes cannot roll in the back of my head far enough when I heard that. It's like, this looks like the CW, and I'm like, shut up. But no, everything looks good. The costume looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the cape and everything, just like everything's perfect. And everyone was like worried about being. I don't notice it bunching. I don't notice it looking baggy on him. It's just so good. I'm just so happy right now.
Yeah, I think we're all echoing the same thoughts. I woke up at 1 a.m. to watch it, and finally got to see it on my bigger TV screen when I woke up later in the morning, about 6-7 hours later. But completely thrilled that most of the comments are positive, that most of the people that are watching it are thrilled and excited for it. So cannot wait for more and to be in the theatre in July 11th or July 10th here, I think it is. But nevertheless, when it comes out later next year in July. But thank you everyone for joining us for this analysis of the teaser trailer for the new Superman movie. I'm Steve Eunice. On behalf of myself, Michael Bailey, Marc Lax, thank you so much for joining us for this bonus episode of Superman Homepage Live. Once again, we'd like to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a super new year. The three of us will be back in early January for more Superman Homepage Live shows, so we hope you'll join us then. Until then, be sure to make sure you check out supermanhomepage.com for all your daily news updates on everything surrounding the Man of Steel. I'm Steve Eunice on behalf of Michael Bailey. Thank you, Michael. There you are on that side.
Sorry, you threw me off on there. Pleasure as always, Steve.
And Marc Lax. Thank you, Marc.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks to our sponsors, Douglas Meacham, John Patrick Van Pelt, and Tina Murray. I'm Steve Eunice. On behalf of Marc, Michael, and myself, all the best for the new year. We will see you then. Take care and all the best.